federal government's allegation that the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, is responsible for the death of at least 175 security personnel and several other citizens. At a press briefing in Abuja, Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, accuses Kanu of using an online station, Radio Biafra, to incite members of the group. He blames the proscribed IPOB members and its military wing, the Eastern Security Network, for Tuesday's attack on traditional rulers in Imo State.
Acting on the instigating directives of Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB members and NSAS protesters attacked and killed many security agents, destroyed several public and private properties, including police stations, public transport buses, and other facilities across the country. 2. That on 21st October 2020, Nnamdi Kanu, through an online call-in radio program, Radio Biafra, further instigated IPOB members to burn down all police stations and kill government security forces, which was carried out, and several security personnel, especially police officers, were killed and public and private properties destroyed. 3. 175 security personnel were in consequence killed by IPOB ESN, comprising 128 policemen, 37 military personnel, and 10 other security operatives across the country. 4. Killing of prominent Nigerians. Recently, there were gruesome killings of traditional rulers, OB1 of Okolugbo Autonomous Community, Eze and Yacho and Anayochukwu, Dure and Eze Samson Osunwa of Ihebi Nyore Autonomous Community, as well as the killing of Alhaji Ahmed Golak on 30th May 2021. That as a consequence of Nnamdi Kanu's broadcast, there were 19 attacks on INEC facilities that resulted in the destruction of offices as well as burning of 18 INEC logistical vehicles, several election materials, equipment, and ICT gadgets in Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Cross River, Enugu, Ebonyi, and Imo states. 6. That 164 police stations and formations, including police headquarters Owerri, Imo State, were attacked by IPOB ESN, leading to the deaths of 128 policemen, as stated in 3 above. 144 injured, while 628 vehicles were destroyed. The 396 firearms and 17,738 ammunition were carted away during the IPOB ESN attacks. 8. That there were 3 IPOB ESN attacks on Nigerian Correctional Service, including the headquarters of Nigeria Correctional Service, Owerri, Imo State, where 1,841 inmates escaped. 9. That the headquarters of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Umuahia, Abia State, was also attacked by IPOB ESN, leading to the deaths of 1 officer. That there were several IPOB ESN attacks and destruction of public and private properties during the NSAS and Biafra agitations across the country, especially in the southeast and south-south regions, notably the Palace of Oba of Lagos, where 12 flats were completely looted and vandalized. The country home of Governor of Imo State, Senator Hope Uzidinma, was burnt. over 150 buses bombed at Lagos bus terminal. Senator Ndoma Egba's home in Calabar Municipal, Cross River State, was completely looted and vandalized. Lagos State DNA and Forensic Center, City Hall, Racecourse, First Bank Branch Lagos, Lagos State Public Works Commission, Nigeria Port Authority, Marina Lagos, High Court Igboho Lagos were all burnt, among other heinous crimes committed.
The Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, there. Well, still on the Attorney General's briefing, the ADF also said that government has identified the sponsors of Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba Nation agitator, also known as Sunday Igboho. Well, according to Malami, a committee set up by the government found out that Igboho is linked to 43 accounts in 9 banks. The ADF claims a federal lawmaker is Igboho's major sponsor. Malami also links Igboho with insurgent group Boko Haram. He accuses the agitator of funding the Islamist group.
The government has received the report on financiers of Adeniyi Sunday Adeyemo, aka Sunday Igboho. The report revealed that Sunday Igboho is a director and signatory to Adhesion International Concept Limited, registered on 23rd April 2010. Adhesion International Concept Limited also has Oladele Oyetunji and Ederofo Adeyemo as directors. Similarly, Igboho is linked to 43 bank accounts in 9 banks. The major financier of the fugitive and separatist was found to be a federal lawmaker in the National Assembly. A total sum of 127,145,000 naira was received by Igboho from his financiers between 22nd October 2013 and 28th September 2020 through Adhesion International Concept Limited's account. A total of 273,198,200 transaction outflows was recorded from Sunday Igboho's account between 15th March 2013 and 11th day of March 2021. Investigations revealed that Adhesion International Concept Limited, belonging to Igboho, transferred the sum of 12,750,000 to Abbal Bako and Sons. It might be recalled that Abbal Bako and Sons and its promoter, Abdullahi Umar Usman, are suspects in the ongoing joint terrorism financing investigation. Abdullahi Umar is by way of financial transactions also connected to Suraju Abubakar Muhammad, who was sentenced, for your information, to life imprisonment in United Arab Emirates on charges of financing terrorism, Boko Haram. This report shows the nexus between separatist agitation, terrorism financing, and disruption of peace in the country. The report found connections of financial transactions between Adhesion International Concept Limited belonging to Igboho and some construction companies and businesses, among others. Having received the reports, the federal government remains resolute in its determination to have a peaceful Nigeria. The federal government will do the needful within the context of the legal provisions in ensuring that the matter is given the deserved attention, and those found guilty will be made to face the wrath of the law.
Meanwhile, the Yoruba youth leader denies authorizing any politician to beg the presidency on his behalf. Sunday Igboho's lawyer, Yomi Aliu, says they are aware that some politicians have been putting pressure on Igboho and his wife for permission to speak with the presidency so that they can secure his release in Benin Republic. Aliu claims the politicians are trying to use the situation to gain political favors from government. He says any document purportedly signed by Igboho or his wife endorsing, empowering, or making anybody his mouthpiece other than his lead counsel should be disregarded and taken as fake.
To discuss the security and political implications of the continued detention of these separatist leaders, we're joined by public affairs analyst Kanu Okolugbo. Ken, glad to have you join us.
It's my pleasure.
Good.
Yes.
Do you think, or do you see any security implications concerning detention of the proscribed by pop leader Kanu, and then of course Igboho we're just discussing about? And do you think this could in any way affect the elections November 6th in Anambra State?
You know, the funny aspect is, listening very carefully to the Attorney General, the proscribed group, IPOB, the leader was just charged yesterday, and the charges were amended, the 7-count charges were amended. And it's embarrassing to see the Attorney General now actually having a press conference the day after he has charged, because his office was in charge of prosecution, alleging that even the NSAS, the killings that happened in October 20, from October 20 and up, and all the periods that we had the NSAS demonstrations, he ascribed it all to the IPOB leader. We are aware that judicial panels were set up, and almost all the judicial panels have rounded up. I think all of them have rounded up because Lagos is about to submit his report. And I don't think any of those judicial panels have had any link with any of these protests.
We've not seen their report anyway.
Most of the ones that have been submitted, the ones that they've given judicial decisions. Lagos was giving judicial decisions openly. They were not hiding it, they were making awards. None have been linked to the, I'm not holding brief for this, for Nnamdi Kanu, but we're looking for peace. Now, the elections are coming up in Anambra. We're all aware that on Mondays, people don't go to work in Anambra. Anambra is shut down. Tuesdays is practically also affected. So we have only Wednesdays, and now they have actually decided to resort to using Sundays now as a weekday. Now, what would a sensible government do if you really want voters to turn up on November 6th? Because the impression that is given is that so many people are afraid of coming out because of unknown gunmen. That is what we were told. But now we know that it is IPOB from the press conference. May the souls of the 175 officers that have died rest in peace. But if we say 128 policemen have died, like you said, 37 soldiers and 10 other security security services officers have died, why would we not think of going into a peaceful settlement at this point? Why is he actually holding this press conference to actually stir the hornet's nest? Because we are actually having an election in less than 2 weeks.
You just took it out of my mouth.
Place was to maintain law and all that. Yeah, begin to look for if there's a need to get someone to
you just raised the point,
yes.
As to, because my question is exactly why it's become necessary for government, of course, the Attorney General, to hold this press conference, considering the fact that the government is in court with Nnamdi Kanu.
Exactly what I said.
And in the case of Igboho, remember that President Buhari he mentioned that there's a lawmaker who's been identified to be sponsoring Igboho, and you hear that again
and it's been
from the Attorney General.
It's also been echoed by the Attorney General.
What do you think?
Why is worrisome?
Of all of this?
You remember Benny Bakwa, one of the members in the House of Rep, clearly said how he was embarrassed in Ghana because of that statement by the president, because they said they were not sure if he was not a terrorist, financial. Now it's been echoed by the Attorney General. And the worrisome thing is that you're not even naming the person, saying that you're not sure. The Attorney General is not a judge. He's just an Attorney General. He's just a prosecutor. Now, what he's doing is that he's acting as a prosecutor and also acting as a judge. And what I find worrisome is that in Anambra right now, there are 18 candidates who are running for that, that's the political implication, who are running for the governorship office. Now we have 21 local governments in Anambra. We have the flashpoints. But the APC is not campaigning. It's only ABGA and PDP that are campaigning. We haven't seen any of the campaigns from the APC. And now they've been boasting that they're going to win that election. And INEC has told us that they're going to actually carry out the same kind of system that they used in Isoko, the by-election in Isoko, which is a bimodal system, which would eliminate incident forms. That means it will be as good as electronic transmission of results, because if there are no incident forms, it therefore means that if you cannot capture my finger, you can capture
Ken,
my
we just
eye.
have a minute. Let me just drop this. The president has already said that the security will be beefed up in Anambra State, and that nothing must cause the elections to be cancelled.
That statement was very welcoming. But what I find worrisome is after that statement, after the meeting with his security team, then the Attorney General is actually having this press conference. Is this press conference going to help the situation in Anambra? It's going to inflame it, because people are going to get very angry. Because what the Attorney General has just told us is that Kanu is almost like a superhuman being who sits in London, sits in Kenya, and is right now incarcerated and has caused the death of this amount of people. Ahmed Gulag, Professor Kunyili. I mean,
what do you make of the
quite
link
worrisome
between Nnamdi Kanu and NSAS especially?
That is why I find worrisome. I mean, he would have waited for all the panels to submit their reports, and the National Economic Council will release that report. Then he could have brought in that link. And another thing is that he says there are 24 members of that committee. He chairs that committee, but we don't know the 23 other members who are made up from the police, the army, the DSS, the DIA, the NIA, and all that. So I think the press conference was totally uncalled for. At this material point in time, we're trying to find peace in Anambra.
Ken Okolugbo, no time to talk about the bank accounts linked to Igboho and the rest of them. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
It's my pleasure.